What's up, everyone? Listen, Andrew Bush here. Welcome to our page here with my wife, Janelle, where we talk about faith, family, and business. And today, I'm going to be talking about, in a short, how do I know when I'm ready for marriage? How do I know, right? Because a lot of times marriage, sometimes we misappropriate it, and sometimes we can think marriage is an escape from life. But I want to propose to you that marriage really exposes, what's really in your life. And so this is why it's important concerning marriage, and when you're ready for marriage, that you have to be able to be okay with yourself, right? Because here's the thing, it's two whole people. The Bible says in Genesis that the two, Adam and Eve, became one flesh. And so it comes to a point where if I'm going to come into somebody's life and be in a marriage, I'm going to be in a covenant relationship where it's no longer a girlfriend-boyfriend. It's no longer, you know what, I'm not feeling you today, so I'm just going to go the other way, right? I'm just going to, today I don't like you, so, I'll just leave. When you get married, those kind of things, they get thrown out of the window, right? Because the reality is you become one flesh. And so a lot of times we have to realize when you get married, when you come in contact with another individual, and you haven't been healed in your own soul, you haven't been able to learn to love yourself, value who you are, really get to know who you are, who God created you to be, know your identity, know that you're fearfully and wonderfully made in his image and likeness, and knowing the plans and purposes and that he has for you. What will happen is if you get into a marriage, you will begin to, a lot of times, have unrealistic expectations in your marriage, and you'll expect the other person to be your healer. You'll expect the other person to be your maid, to be everything that the marriage wasn't meant to be. And the raw truth is marriage was created. God created marriage, for a place of thriving, right? We look through history, marriage was the first institution that was created before government, before church and everything. God put a man and woman together. And from there, we have society, we have families, we have all the different things that are going on in the world. It started from a man and woman coming together. Why? Because it was coming to produce fruit, produce humanity, produce generations, right? And so the goal of a marriage and a family isn't just for selfish gain. It's really coming to serve one another, serve with one another, right? Love each other, but thrive in life. And a lot of times marriages that are only built upon me, myself, and I, we miss the perspective of marriage. It's about two becoming one. It's about being able to live humble, to serve my spouse, to love my spouse. It's a good book, actually, right here. It's called Strength-Based Marriages. It's a really good resource because it pretty much breaks down how, a lot of times in a marriage, you have to know the strengths of each other. You have to know the weaknesses of each other, because a lot of times we can spend a lot of time trying to change each other instead of learning to connect with each other, learning how to value my spouse's strength, learning how to value what my spouse loves, and then I can begin to serve them in that place. But if we're insecure, if we have trust issues and all these different things, it will cut the life source of the marriage, and then it would be a lot of misery, to be honest. But I believe if before we go into marriage, right, if we go through proper protocol, if we are in a place that we're really concerned about our own wholeness, right? Because if I am not whole, I'm actually not just going to be damaging for myself, but everybody else that's involved, right? Because if I have trust issues, right? If I have, things that have hurt me and I've not dealt with them, I'm going to end up taking that out on my spouse. I'm going to take it out on my children. I'm going to take it out on all those around me. So I say it's responsible and it's mature that before I step into a covenant such as marriage, that I take responsibility and I say, God, heal me where I was hurt. Heal me where that person cheated on me. Heal me where adultery maybe happened in a form of marriage. Maybe you lost a spouse. Maybe something just traumatic happened. Before you just go into marriage, before you just go into a marriage, be sure that you are whole. Be sure that you are confident in who you are and what God has done in you. And realistically, when you're living and thriving in who you are, marriage is now, you're more ready for marriage. But if you're just thirsting after marriage, hoping that it's going to fulfill some need in you, a lot of times the motive is wrong, because marriage exposes what's already there. Marriage will expose what's in your heart. Marriage will expose you. Now, I'll say this, marriage can definitely bring healing, right? Because sometimes when you get married, there's certain things that are not opened up until you get married, right? Until you come into a covenant, God can now use your spouse to help you be restored and trust, right? You know, God a lot of times will use your spouse to help you grow and push each other. That's important, that we're growing. We're not perfect. But what I'm saying is, before you go into marriage, count the cost and know if you are in a place that you are sustained, right? You're sustained so that when you go into marriage, it can be a bliss. It can be worth it. You're right. You know, we're not tripping up over things 13 years ago, but we are healed. We're moving forward. We're not perfect, but now we can move forward in the plan of God that He has for us. And so I just want to encourage you in that, just some tips, some things to think about if you're considering being married. And I believe it'll help you. Listen, if you would look like for more tips and strategies about faith in business, and one of the things we're going to be talking more about is hope at home, I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share this with a friend. Share this with somebody that maybe you know could use it. Until next time, God bless.